Stop right there, criminal scum. You have violated the laws of Planet Fitness.
No, I'm not deadlifting. I'm just doing curls.
You are clearly grunting.
No, I'm not grunting. I'm just breathing, like a person.
A person? What do you think this is, a gym? We're not a gym, we're Planet Fitness. Pack your things and get out.
Well, can I at least grab a bagel on the way out?
Bagel day is Monday. Today's pizza day. Help yourself to a slice on the way out.
Okay, fine. It's Ramsey Dewey over here in Shanghai, China. I got a link from one of the latest videos from our friend Dale Brown, Commander Dale Brown over at Detroit Urban Survival. He's made some goofy videos.
Take your fist!
And this is supposedly a defense against the rear naked choke. So, I'm buckled in for a good time here to see what kind of nonsense the Dale will come up with here. Let's take a look.
The rear, and in this case, a rear naked choke. We're gonna go here,
Okay.
tuck our chin if we can, keep the blood flowing and action going so we can maintain our consciousness. Use your blade to cut outward on the arm. That's one way. Another way is to invert it. Go right to the arm itself and bring it down. Rear.
Note to self. Note to self. Do not try to strangle Dale. That man will cut you. That man will cut you. I don't know what kind of bullshit I was expecting, but hold on. Hold on. Did he put the blade in between his own fingers? I gotta see that again. Hold on. Did he put the blade between his own fingers? Okay. So he's trying to make some space to keep the blood flow going. He pulls out his knife from his bat utility belt and stabs between his pinky and his ring finger. I think Dale is a fan of Jourdan Chow. Jourdan, I think you got a fan out there, because this guy has been paying attention to your rear naked choke defense. Check this out, Jourdan Chow on defending the rear naked choke.
Actually, let's try that again.
Okay, let's try that one more time.
I think I have it this time.
You got it?
Yeah.
Are you?
Yep.
Go. You'll notice in that video, Jourdan went for the groin first rather than trying to cut between his own fingers. Probably a little bit more effective to stab the other guy instead of stabbing the other guy through your own hand. But you gotta do what you gotta do when your life is on the line, I suppose. So, Commander Dale Brown, everyone.
Hey you. Hey buddy, you over there. Don't you hear the sound of the bells and the chimes? The holiday season is upon us. Yeah, I know it's not even Thanksgiving yet, but listen. Come over here. I got something to tell you. Haven't you heard the news? No, the other good news. There's a huge sale going on at xmarshall.com. Listen up. There's new holiday gear like this Santa Claus rash guard, but wait, there's more. X Marshall is having their biggest sale of the year for Black Friday. All rash guards, shorts, streetwear, and training equipment will be going on sale with a savings up to 60% off. Grab some great Christmas gifts, like this rash guard I'm wearing here, in their Holidays collection, where you can find some great gift bundles and holiday-themed gear. The sale will go on live at midnight on the 24th of November. Get those orders in quickly, as stock will sell out fast. What are you waiting for, man? Come on, roll on over here. I didn't mean that literally, but as long as you're taking things that way, run on over here to xmarshall.com. Don't miss this fantastic sale. Heck, shrimp your way on over to xmarshall.com for some amazing deals this November. Hey, you love that Santa rash guard. Who wouldn't? But guess what? At xmarshall.com, there are a ton of other designs to choose from. This holiday season, consider giving a gift to the martial artists in your life that help them get out there and train in comfort and style. Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas.
Let's do some Q&A. All right, we've got a comment from It's Not See Money Boyd. Says, please keep the Minecraft background. You like the Minecraft background? You like it more than this, what is this, a Skyrim tavern? Where are we? Tamriel somewhere? Okay, we'll go back to Minecraft. All right, now that that's taken care of, let's take another question here. Okay, we have a concern from a friend D.U.S.T, who says, hi Ramsey, the dojo mats at the gym I train at are absolutely disgusting. People seem to be allergic to showers and washing their gear. There is multiple infections going on and I'm not sure what to do. It's the only MMA gym I have. Do I just quit or what shall I do? So I did respond to our friend here. I said, tell the owner what you're experiencing. Dirty mats are unacceptable. Staph infections can kill you. He wrote back and said, the owner knows everything. He's just brushing it off by telling us to go to a doctor and get antibiotics and it will clear up in 5 days. So people are getting infections. They're getting infections. The owner knows this. He knows the gym is in disarray. This is a problem. This is not a good gym. This is not acceptable. If you run a martial arts gym and you have dirty mats, this is a big problem. This is a much bigger problem than whether or not your technique is good. If you are fostering an environment that will literally kill your students, that will make them sick, that's a big concern. A lot of people ask me, what should I look for when I go to a gym? First of all, is it clean? That's not just being picky or pedantic. That is important. This is something that your life will depend on. Man, I've had a bunch of different mat-borne illnesses over the years. Some of them, such as ringworm, are pesky and annoying, but not life-threatening. Others, such as staph infections, those can kill you. I've mentioned this before on this channel. I'll say it again. If you want to be scared straight as far as mat-borne illnesses goes, do a Google image search if you're okay with seeing something very disturbing. So, what's that thing we're supposed to say to these modern sensitive folks? Trigger warning, trigger warning. If you're a sensitive person who doesn't like seeing disturbing images, don't Google this. But if you want to be scared straight, do a Google image search for Kevin Randleman staph infection. The late, great Kevin Randleman had a staph infection in the side of his body, and it opened up a big, giant, gaping, rotten hole there. It was gross. It was gross. Not just gross, it was super dangerous. Anyway, Kevin Randleman, may he rest in peace. Amazing fighter, man. And if that can happen to a dude as tough as Kevin Randleman, it can certainly happen to you. So, it's happening. Ayo, what? Get out of there. Just get out of there. I know it's the only gym in town right now. But, does it deserve to be? It doesn't sound like it does. So, if you're going to leave, which I think you should, let the gym owner know exactly why. Let him know why. Refer him to this video if you want to. Again, it's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. People often ask me what a McDojo is, and yeah, we can point at people who are not very good at teaching martial arts, or people who absolutely suck at it, or people who have bad martial arts business practices. And yes, this is a bad martial arts business practice. If you are giving your students infections, it's not okay. Next question. Our next question comes from Lepaco Man, or something like that. Commented on one of my older videos where I think I said something along the lines of that it was difficult for me to pick up new skills. I've got to invest a lot of time and intense energy into these things. I've got to be very consistent to pick up a new skill. He says, Ramsey, I'm actually the opposite of you in the sense that I usually pick things up very fast in the physical world, but my problem is that it doesn't last. My learning ability slows down radically in a few months span, and when it happens, I become very frustrated about my training and I can't continue. That's the point when I have always quit training. It has happened training judo, Muay Thai, MMA, and BJJ. The longest training I have been done continuously is a little bit longer than a year. I'm 28, and now I really want to start training boxing because I suck at it. And my question is, how can I keep myself disciplined and motivated to not quit training? To the point that I'm not the wimpiest guy in the gym, because I think after that it becomes a bit easier. Another one of those motivation, how do I get motivated and disciplined sort of questions, or is it? I'm not going to give you another one of those how to get motivated and disciplined answers. I'm going to tell you a little bit about me. Why do I keep doing what I do every day? So I started martial arts because I got beaten up in school by a bunch of bullies when I was a kid. I got beaten up and I hated it, and I wanted to make them pay. I wanted to make them stop. I wanted some comeuppance. I wanted some revenge. I saw Bruce Lee movies on the TV. I saw this kind of smaller guy beating up big groups of people in the movies, and I thought, wow, that looks really neat. I wish I could do that. I want that. I want me some of that. So I started training in martial arts. That was my motivation. That was my motivation, to show them. To turn myself into a fighting machine so that when these losers came to give me a hard time, I could give them a harder time. That was it. Yeah. And I finished high school. I went to college. And I had some college roommates who were bullies. They were bullies. They were mean guys. They would pick on me constantly. This kind of shocked me because most of my college experience was pretty awesome and devoid of bullies. But my freshman year, after I moved out of the dorms and moved into an apartment, I moved in with some guys who were a few years older than me, and I think they resented me because I was younger than them. And yeah, the bullying was, man, it was nonstop. And I had been practicing martial arts for a while, practicing Taekwondo. And one of my roommates who was a bully was a third-degree black belt in Taekwondo. And one day I was working out at home. I was working out, doing some push-ups and stretching and stuff. And my roommate comes in and he looks at me and he's like, What are you doing that for? What are you doing that for? You're a joke, man. And I look up at him. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm just working out. There's nothing wrong with that. And he walks over and he kicks me. He just kicks me. So I jump into a Taekwondo stance and I kick him right back. And then he kicks me back. And I kick him back. And soon we're like Taekwondo sparring across the living room. We're having a little Taekwondo fight. But not like a friendly sports sparring competition. We're going at it. It was one of the silliest looking fights ever. But we were seriously going at it like a couple of Taekwondo guys, hands down. Yeah. And then the other roommates who were bullies come in. They're like, yeah, kick his butt. Not talking to me, talking to, what was the dude's name? Paul. Yes, Paul. My roommate Paul was the Taekwondo guy. They're like, yeah, kick his butt, Paul. Yeah, get him. And then, so I keep kicking Paul, and he abandons his Taekwondo and jumps on me, tackles me. We fall on the couch, and we end up in this weird, neither of us knew how to wrestle. At that point, wow, I think it was like 17, maybe 18 years old at that point in my life. I graduated high school early, went to college at age 17. Which again is, I think, one of the reasons these older guys who were a few years older than me resented me, because I was a literal teenager. I was a minor. I was a literal child living with grown men off campus. And that didn't really jive with their vibe. Anyway. So we end up in this grappling situation, crap plus grappling, because neither of us knew how to grapple at the time. And eventually, we break it up and I storm out of there. And one of my roommates was a wrestler. And he said something mean. So I said something mean back to him. And I wanted to cut him to the core. So I said something mean about his wrestling ability. I said he was weak. And that wrestling sucks or something like that. And I stormed out of there and he chased me out. And he's like, what did you just say? And I said, you heard what I said. And then he's like, then you'll have to fight me too. And this was, oh man. So a group of the neighbors gathered round and they're like, what's happening? Ramsey's fighting his roommates? Oh, let's take a look at this. So I'm like, okay, I'll taekwondo fight this guy. And so I start throwing some kicks at him. He shoots in for a double leg, slams me on my back, climbs into like a full mount position and says, I could headbutt you to death right now and there's nothing you could do about it. And fortunately he didn't. And I said, yeah, you could. And he said, yeah, remember that. And he got up and he walked off. And I remembered that. And I remember thinking, that is an inordinate amount of power and a disproportionate amount of power for a bully to have. Why should somebody who does not have your best interest at heart have that kind of power over you? Why should somebody who wants to do you harm, who has ill will for you, have that kind of disproportionate power over you? I never want to experience that again. But I didn't connect the dots at that point in my life. And I thought, I'll just do more taekwondo, more karate, more traditional martial arts, and that will solve the problem. It didn't. I went on to become a professional kickboxer. I did okay as a kickboxer, lost a few fights, won a few fights, and then I ended up doing a professional mixed martial arts match, which I won. I won my first MMA fight without ever training for the sport of MMA. I thought, hey, that was pretty easy. I got lucky. I didn't realize how lucky I got at that point. I landed some nice liver shots on the guy and he dropped. But I kept doing it, and as I kept doing it, I ended up fighting guys who knew how to grapple. And I ended up in that same situation again. I fought this dude who was a pretty decent wrestler, and he took me down, passed my guard, went straight into full mount, and started dropping elbows on my face, and there was nothing I could do about it. And I had this little flashback to this moment where my roommate, who was kind of a bully, but kind of a merciful bully of the bunch, pinned me down to the ground and said, I could kill you with headbutts right here. But essentially I choose not to, and he got up and walked away. My opponent did not choose not to. He was very unmerciful and dropped those elbows on my face until the referee saved my life, at which point I realized, yeah, I'm connecting the dots now. I have connected the dots, and I never want to be in a physical relationship where the power disparity is that disproportionate. Where one guy has all of it and I have none. That sucks. I want to win fights for a change. I want to win fights regardless of the rule set for a change. I want to win fights where we don't have to pretend that the ground is lava like you do in kickboxing and Muay Thai. And in spite of the fact that at that point in my life nobody was bullying me anymore, I decided it was pretty awesome to have the power to dictate how a fight ends. But it's not a one-time thing. It's not a let's invest a year or two of training into this and then all of a sudden we'll be the guy. No, being the guy is a lifetime pursuit. And along the way you'll win some fights and you'll lose some fights. And if you're one of those undefeated guys, keep fighting long enough, you'll lose some. You will. It just happens. It will happen if you keep doing it. And there's lessons to be learned there. But look. I'm thinking right now about something that one of my former jiu-jitsu coaches said. He opened up a gym and he was asked, what's your plan here? What's your long-term plan with this gym? And I suppose they were expecting some sort of finance-related answer. And my former coach said, my plan is to train a whole bunch of badass black belts so I can roll with them. And I love that. I love that so much. I love that. Yeah, you can pay the bills being a martial arts instructor, whatever. That's neat. That's great. You should do that. But if you're missing the fun, man, if you're missing the fun, if training isn't fun for you, you're missing out on so much. I love this stuff. I love physical culture. I love martial arts. I love strength training. Man, when I go to deadlift, this is one of my favorite things. When I go to deadlift and I grab that weight and it's too much and it doesn't move and it doesn't budge, it is a challenge to me. It is this sempiternal challenge, rising up from the ground screaming, do it! Rise to the occasion, become strong enough to move this weight so that weight is not the one dictating what happens, you are. And then when it happens, it's glorious, man. It is glorious. I love training. I don't need motivation to go training because I love it. I love it. I love the challenge. A lot of training isn't necessarily fun. There's some grinding. There's some pain. There's some struggle. There's some blood, sweat, and tears. But I love the blood, sweat, and tears. I love what it does for me. I love how it transforms me. I love the type of person it makes me. You have to find your motivation. You have to find your fun. You got to make your own fun, friends. I think Mr. Rogers said something about that. Man, Mr. Rogers, I love Mr. Rogers. I want to be like Mr. Rogers, and I'll tell you why I want to be like Mr. Rogers, because Mr. Rogers wanted to be like Jesus, I think. And, man, what an awesome dude that was. But Mr. Rogers said something about making your own fun. And I remember watching that as a kid, and as a kid we didn't have a lot to do in the small town that I grew up in, and yeah, so we had to go out and make our own fun. Because the alternative was sitting around thinking, well, I can stare at the wall and watch paint dry. That's no fun at all. Let's go make something of our lives. Make your own motivation, man. Make your own motivation. If you want to do it, you don't have to trick yourself into doing it. You don't have to play mind games and cast little word spells of affirmation on yourself to make it happen. Because you'll want to. And if you don't want to right now, okay, I get it. Sometimes I wake up and I'm tired and I'm sore and it's like it's not ideal to go out there and train. But I do it because I've done this before and I know what happens. Those turn out to be the best training days. Because I show up. I'm sore, I'm tired, I dust off the cobwebs, I strip off the rust, I warm up, I move, and I never feel worse after words. I never feel worse. I always feel better. And I always learn something. If nothing else, I learned something about Ramsey Dewey on the inside. Thanks for watching. Now get out there and train.